Is Raphael Varane going to be the answer for Manchester United? We're discussing that on Kickoff this evening here on talkSPORT with myself and the former England defender Danny Mills, who feels like there might be a small question mark on his adapting to life in England. I'm not so sure, I've got to say. Let's speak to Will. He's a Manchester United fan. He must be delighted. Sancho, now Varane. How are you feeling, Will?
Oh, I'm buzzing, mate.
How do you think he's going to do? Do you agree with what Danny said?
No, not at all. Not one bit. I don't know how he could say either that he'd rather have Ramos over Varane. Ramos has just not been selected for his Spanish team for the Euros. He was chosen over Laporte, who's not even Spanish. That says all you need to know.
And how did they do?
They did pretty well, I've got to say. They got to the semis, didn't they? Yeah, I mean, it's not bad.
It didn't look defensively very good, though. Without Ramos is an outstanding... Ramos is a fantastic leader. If Ramos goes into Manchester United over the next 2 seasons, for 2 years, he's brilliant. I think he's absolutely superb. I just think he's more of a guarantee than Varane would be for the next 2 years.
You can get 5 or 6 out of Varane, though.
I'm not saying you can't, but I think for the next... You don't get 5 or 6 years as Manchester United to be good, though. That's the problem. Man United have got to be good next season. They've got to improve yet again.
No, I agree. But I think we're just short of a midfielder now to be able to challenge City for that title.
That's the only thing that's missing for you, Will. You don't think you've got enough now? You've got Jadon Sancho. Cavani's still there. I think he was great last season. You've got... Yeah. Look, I know they're not world-class talents in midfield, but a team that's already good enough to finish second in the league, and you add these players, you don't think you're going to have a good challenge this year?
I think we will, but I think the midfielder would just push us that next step.
What about your goalkeeper?
I'd play Henderson. I think De Gea should leave.
That would be a big call for me.
But there's been no team that's ever won the Premier League without an outstanding goalkeeper.
Do you not think Henderson's outstanding?
Not yet, no. He's had 1 season at Sheffield United. That's it. That's all it is.
Well,
do you know what? I'd prioritise a holding midfielder first and foremost for Manchester United if they're going to challenge. I think, it's going to be difficult to get a player of the ilk of Sancho and Varane in that position. We know how much money that's going to cost. We know they've already spent over 100 million this summer. But there's something that worries me slightly about all this spending. I'll come to it a little bit later on. At the moment, I'm living it up. I'm not sure why it's happening, but I'm quite happy about it. Let's speak to Stuart, who's a Manchester City fan. Good evening, Stuart. Will, thank you for your call. Stuart, what do you think about Varane? Is he going to take Manchester United to the team that challenges City next season for the title?
Well, he's a brilliant player, there's no denying that, and I think he's going to make a difference, but I think there's still... I think United will be lucky to make top 4 next season. I think they had a lucky season last season because of everybody, the corona and Liverpool not playing well, City not playing well, injuries and whatnot. So United have had a bit of a free ride to get second place.
Who's going to finish above Manchester United next season for you?
For me, I would say City, obviously, will win it again. Chelsea, Leicester, and...
I'm sure you mean Liverpool next.
Liverpool and Leicester. I think Leicester are going to come on next season, yeah. I like the manager.
I'm surprised by that. I think that's bias. Stuart, I've got to say, as a Manchester City fan, that's a bit of bias for me.
Do you think Man United will win the league then?
No.
Where do you think they'll finish?
Look, top 4 is now...
so Stuart's only 1 place out then, if you think 4th?
I don't think 4th. I think they're definitely going to be in the top 4.
So you say, but you think 3rd or 4th, realistically?
No, look, Manchester United could be as easily 2nd as 4th, in my opinion, because it just depends how the season goes. Chelsea, look, we're not at the end of the transfer window, ended the season fantastically well. Liverpool are going to
they aren't going to win it.
Virgil van Dijk back. No, you've got to see what the competition do. I think if I was going to go down the bookmakers and put a bet on right now, I would only put a bet on Manchester United because I support them. I don't rationally think they're going to win the league. I still think there's a gap between them and Manchester City. And if Liverpool are at 100%, I still think there's a gap between Manchester United and Liverpool. But comfortably, comfortably within the top 4. And for me, I'm happy with that right now before the season's even started, not to really be worrying about qualifying for the Champions League next season. That means I'm delighted. I've got to say, Danny, that's one of the reasons I'm happy, because I think we are now out of the conversation.
That's how low Manchester United fans have fallen.
No.
When getting in the Champions League has become a trophy.
No, it hasn't.
You used to slate Arsenal fans for that.
Listen, I'm not saying it's a trophy. I didn't say there's going to be an open bus top bus parade because Manchester United finished in the top 4. I'm looking at the squad right now, and there's no doubt in my mind that it's good enough to finish in the top 4. Are they good enough to win the Premier League right now? When I look at the opposition, I don't think so. I'm just trying to be realistic with you, Danny. Trying to be rational, Anyway, Stuart, Man City fan, thank you for your call. Let's speak to Chris. He supports Manchester United. Hopefully, he's buzzing as well about this. And look, given what I've just said about top 4, Chris, do you think Man United are going to win the league now we've signed Varane?
I'm sort of borderline. I'm a season ticket holder at Man United. I think we're going to get closer with signing Varane and Sancho, but I'm surprised at Danny's negativity about Varane, saying they should sign
Sergio Ramos.
Ramos first, because Ramos obviously is aging, a bit rash. He's a good defender, but I think Varane is the type of defender.
I think Ramos is better than a good defender.
I think this is one of the best signings Manchester United have made for a long, long time. You've got to look at him, 28 years old. He's on a 4-year deal, could be extended to a 5-year contract. As I said earlier on, this could be the best years of his career. He's already won a World Cup and 4 Champions League titles. You've got to be excited
I just go back in the day, and go back to Diego Godin when he was at Atletico Madrid. And if you sign him at sort of 27 years old, you go, wow, that is like an unbelievable defender that is going to cope with all sorts of rigours of the Premier League without a shadow of a doubt.
Chris, I want to ask you, where do you think Manchester United's defence ranks now that it's got Varane against a Liverpool that's going to have a Van Dijk back, Manchester City, who were great last year, Chelsea, we know how good their defence was under Thomas Tuchel. Where do you think Man United's ranks?
I would say it's up there when you looked at Maguire with Stones in the Euros. Maguire had a good season, but I think he struggled a little bit. But with a better defender coming in, like Varane, I think they could really improve. Whether they're going to go and get another right back, I don't know. I don't think they should, when they spent 50 million already on Wan-Bissaka. But I think the defence come on.
Chris, we're just losing your line there. Thank you very much, Chris, Manchester United fan. We're going to go to another call. I think Paul's a Real Madrid fan, so he can tell us exactly how good Varane is and how good it is for Manchester United that they've signed him. Good evening, Paul. What do you think?
Evening. Can you hear me?
We can. Go ahead.
Obviously, I heard that caller earlier speaking about comments that Ramos wasn't good enough to play for the Spanish national team this summer. Obviously, the guy probably hasn't watched Madrid this season, but Ramos was out for probably 2/3 of the season, probably half of the season with injuries. I think he's an absolute leader. Varane is lucky to play with him for that amount of time, and obviously will bring experience to Man United, but my opinion would be, if I had the option this summer, I would have took and agreed with someone earlier about having
Danny
Ramos.
Mills. So you agree, having watched Real Madrid every week, that Sergio Ramos is a better player. But I've got to ask you the question. If I'm a Manchester United fan, I'm looking at Victor Lindelof or Rafael Varane, and I'm saying my club's done an absolutely brilliant bit of business. You can't sign them both. Well, you might have, but it would have been very unlikely. And out of the two, I'm surprised you say Sergio Ramos, because you've got to look at the long term. You've got 5 years. You're not going to get... Paris Saint-Germain will not get 5 years out of Sergio Ramos.
Cavani wasn't a long term.
Believe me.
He's been great.
He wasn't, but Manchester United needed a player of quality in that position.
Thiago Silva wasn't long term at Chelsea, but they've just won the Champions League off the back of it.
Mm-hmm.
Completely agree with Varane as probably the long-term signing. It was more the case of I heard the conversation saying about Varane against Ramos and about the Spanish national team. I just thought, no, I just didn't believe in that caller was correct. That's all. And,
Paul, how many games can Rafael Varane sort of coast through in La Liga? Because from what we see, it seems quite a few that you don't have to. It's nowhere near as robust, is it, or as physical as the Premier League?
No, I'd probably say more over the past couple of years, 40-50% maybe givens of wins, whereas you've only got, like I say, the Spanish, your Seville and Villarreal, Atletico, there's quite a few teams that win a lot of trophies, not just in the Spanish leagues. So, like I say, I think it's Seville that have won the Euro Cup how many
Europa
times
League,
in the past 10 years? Yeah. So it's not the easiest league by any means, but yeah, I think we've seen Varane against Man City, didn't we, a couple of seasons ago, and he had an absolute howler.
Thank you very much for your call, Paul, a Real Madrid fan. He's not necessarily saying Varane's going to hit the ground running, but Manchester United fans, I need you to back me up on this one. 08717 223344. I think Raphael Varane is the best signing that Manchester United have made in maybe a decade, maybe the last 7 or 8 years, let's call it that. I think he could change fundamentally how good this team can be. If you agree with me, give me a call, 08717 223344.
Kick-off with Hugh Wozencroft, Tuesday to Thursday night, 7 till 10. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.